So here we have it. I've got the cord inside the leg. This is at the upper end. So this, I can't even hold this. I might have to do this somewhere else. There, that's as far out as it goes. The cord is inside there, wrapped around this and wrapped around that. That's at the outer limit. That's as far as the shock will go out. So there, you've got that movement in there. Does that work? Now, going to be bolts through here with two big washers. Well, washers, and then the bungee cords will go there. And the bungee cords will hold that together, and that metal cord will stop it from going any further than that. So you got a little bit of play in there. And then by mechanical advantage, you'll have a few more inches down there. And then I've got the big balloon tires on top of that. So that is what that is going to look like, I think, because this isn't real. It's not DHA G17 in the plans or in my sheet there. It's only AG17. So just a few things that are typically wrong. But let's see how she goes. Getting the landing gear sorted out. So I've got it mocked up, everything's drilled. Going to be bungees between here, pulling this together. Bungees between here, pulling this together. This is what Algie was talking about when he was doing his landing gear. He welded all this up, and you see the movement that's in here. Everything's loose, so there's going to be less movement, obviously. But it's this bottom arm that you really don't want to move at all. It should be steady right like this. And then all of this motion will just happen as the legs go up and down. You're going to get some motion here, but you don't want it getting cockeyed like this. So if you land a little bit on one leg, it's going to wonk everything out of position like that. So you've got a lot of give in there going back and forth here. So that's why Algie went ahead and welded his. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to use this as a proof of concept. I'm going to put this on for now. I fully plan to change the landing gear and come up with a better system. But I'm just whipping this off now as per plans to get it done, because I want to get this thing flying so I can go have some fun out there. But if you look at this, this is exactly what Algie was talking about on his. You've got this rocking motion in there coming from both sides, depending on how, if you don't land level, even if you do land level, you've still got this motion in here. By holding this solid, then the motion is actually where it should be, in this joint right here coming in and out. Rather than the whole thing going cockeyed and putting pressure on one end versus the other end. It's just kind of a little bit wonky. Going on with the gear legs. I've got all that sorted out. What I really was concerned about is figuring out how in the hell I'm going to do all this. So I've got my axle through there. I've got my hub. I've got my disc on the hub. I made a little template here out of cardboard. That is going to be my caliper holder. And it's probably going to be this way, because this is up, this is down, and I'll have the calipers on the upside. But there's how it's going to sit. There'll be a couple little holes through here to hold the caliper on, just like that. Get that welded on there, and that caliper just stays steady while the hub and wheels turn. Then what I'll have to do is this will go flat right on there, and then I can shim out the hub as far as I need to make sure get loose there. Shim it out as far as I have to so that this is straight up, the caliper fits right on the disc. So maybe it's shimmed out to there, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. But right around there is where it's probably going to sit, and then it'll sit right down in there. And then I'll have the two holes just to hold it right there. So I think that's going to work. Next thing I'll do is get this cut out of metal, stick it on there, and see how it is. I'm going to do it a relatively thin piece of steel so that I can actually weld it to here. I could make it lighter with aluminum, but there's nothing really. You've got steel here, this is aluminum, but then how to attach it to your spindle here so that it doesn't move. I think the easiest way is just going to be to weld it around there and have a piece of metal, steel, holding that there. Rather than aluminum would be lighter, but I think that's the way to go. Anyone else have some ideas? You could put aluminum and I guess a bracket and tack it to there, but nice and simple, piece of steel, weld it on there, and we should be good to go. YouTube, and welcome to my mess. I have got a bunch of crap in here, and I'm back. I haven't deserted you, but we've got crap in here, we've got crap everywhere, because I'm helping someone move and their house is in here, but we're back at it. And we're doing wheels and brakes. So last time you saw, the wheels were on. But today, I've actually got the brakes figured out. So I've got disc brakes going on there. And if you zoom in here, this is just a mock-up, nothing's really finished. But I have a caliper holding device. We got that welded onto an axle. So the caliper is on there and everything's going to be lined up and everything. I've got to put a little spacer in here, but that all lines up and that works nicely. I've got to get another hose that'll come up and it'll just be zip tied on there. So that all looks good. I made the caliper bracket so that it's on there and it holds the caliper at that angle. And then it can be bled out of the top screw. I'll do the same thing on the other side, get the same caliper, and then it'll just have to be reversed onto this side so you can put the hose from the bottom to the top when it's on the other side of the airplane. But that is good. I'm happy with how that turned out. And the next thing is we'll just route a longer hose over, and then I'll figure out toe brakes on the rudder pedals. So that is what I have been up to with the airplane, the Dakota Hawk. Okay, stay tuned for more. I should be getting at her this fall and hitting her pretty hard. So we'll get the brakes done. I've got to order some struts, those streamlined struts that come up. I'll have a question about those to the group, whether or not the ones from Wix is just what people are going with for streamlined struts. And yeah, we'll try and get this thing rigged up this winter, covered, and then we'll figure out an engine for it.